Girl, can you picture Latoya ass fighting somebody? Girl, stop it. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Speaking of the shenanigans, for all the paying members, I need you to go to our community wall and check out what I just posted because I need an answer. The same thing for all my Patreon members. Please go on over there and let me know what you think. Now, let's continue talking about Latoya Jackson. Bye, Latoya Jackson. Michael excitedly explained the USA for Africa project to me. Quincy Jones is gathering a bunch of artists to record this song. The only problem was there wasn't yet a song to record. Lionel came to our house, and after dinner, he and Michael retired to my brother's room to write. 5 hours later, after midnight, I peeked in on them. You guys still up writing? It must be going great, I said. We wrote nothing, Lionel answered sheepishly. Nothing? Nope, Michael answered, nothing. The next day, it was the same thing. You know, you guys, you have to have this song ready, I reminded them. Don't worry, Latoya, we're hot, we're cooking, tonight, Lionel said with mock enthusiasm. Michael cracked up. It was the laugh he employs when things aren't going well. Lionel has written so many wonderful songs over the years, but for some reason, he was suddenly afflicted with writer's block. After he went home, Michael practically wrote the song himself, knowing it had to be finished the next day. When the two of them presented the demo to Quincy, he exulted, "This is great smelling. This is it. This is the song." Wait a minute, the two of them. Hold on, y'all. Hold the hell on. Okay. It was the producer's job to cast the record. Like Band Aid, this was to be an all-star event. I was surprised, flattered, and honored when Michael told me that Quincy wanted me to be a part of We Are the World, along with Randy, Tito, Marlon, Jackie, and Michael. Janet and Jermaine were not invited. And when I think about it, y'all, I didn't even realize, damn, where's Janet and Jermaine? Quincy often included me in various projects, like appearing in the video for Frank Sinatra's song, LA is My Lady, where I share a poolside toast with Dean Martin. Before we got down to business at Michael's behest, Quincy acknowledged there are going to be a lot of people who are offended because they're not a part of this project. But we can use only so many people. We can't have every entertainer in the world on this album. We have no space. I want you to know that I'm not neglecting anybody, and don't feel neglected if you're not one of those who are singing solos. I think you sing just as well, but we selected only a few people for those parts because we felt that their style fit. Like Cyndi Lauper, I'm sorry. I'm I'm sorry. Cyndi Lauper. Okay, I'm gonna back down from that. Most of us finished recording by around 3 a.m., but Michael and the soloist were still at work come sunrise. My brother was very particular about how he wanted each person to sing his or her part, and that took some time. The record was released in early March of 1985, and since then he raised tens of millions to fight world hunger. It was a great honor to be among the artists who helped make a difference for so many. I know that We Are the World will always have a special place in Michael's heart, vividly demonstrating music's power to help benefit the world. I begged my mother to come downstairs with me. We were in my hotel suite in Acapulco, Mexico, where I was performing at a music festival along with several top rock and Latin groups. Mother traveled everywhere with me, and I was leaving for the show at a nearby open air coliseum. No, I don't want to go, she said, upset. I didn't know he was coming. No one knew that Joseph was coming. Though he managed me, my father never attended any of my concerts. Now he'd appeared unannounced in Acapulco, not to see me, I was sure, but to watch another act he managed, the Joe Jackson dancers. Mother was devastated. It's bad enough I'm up here in your suite, and then here he comes staying in his own suite. We're married, Latoya. That looks so bad. Catherine, that ain't nobody's fault but yours. You know that, right? I'm like, but I'm gonna save my commentary on this situation for later. We're married, Latoya. That looks so bad, but I can't go down there, she insisted. People will laugh at me again. She was referring to her husband's very public infidelities, that Joseph. At times like this, my heart went out to Mother. Trying to persuade her further was futile. So I kissed her goodbye and asked her to wish me good luck. The moment I boarded the private bus taking all performers to the show, I was thankful my mother had stayed upstairs. Okay, you sit here and you sit there. The familiar, reedy voice belonged to Joseph's girlfriend, Judy, one of the several he'd continued keeping since Mother called off the divorce. I took a seat and watched her prance up and down the aisles, ordering dancers, musicians, and technicians around, all the while pretending not to notice me. Once my father climbed on board, though, his mistress made sure to flaunt their fare in my face. It was so sickening that just before the bus pulled away, I bolted out the door and started walking briskly back to the hotel, burning with anger. What's wrong? What's wrong? Joseph cried, running after me, as if he didn't know. Nothing, I said sharply, and continued walking, refusing to look at him. The minute I got back to the hotel that night, I told Mother we're taking the first flight out. But why? Just as much as you do not like to look at your husband showing his women up and down the streets of Acapulco, Latoya don't want to see it either. She don't want to be reminded of how much of a dummy her mammy is, because that's what's going on. Why would you just not divorce him? And I believe that she just believed it was more of a tragedy for her to divorce her husband than to stay with her husband and deal with the infidelity. The minute I got back to the hotel that night, I told Mother we're taking the first flight out. But why? We just are. Earlier backstage, I'd confronted one of my father's chief assistants, telling him, don't you ever put me in a position like this again. I don't like it. It's disrespectful to me and Mother. No, Mother is disrespecting herself by staying with that man. Because Catherine is still a very beautiful woman, even at the age she is. Me, I would hunch the pool guy. If I was Catherine, I would do some lame stuff. You know what I'm saying? An NBA player. What NBA player wouldn't want to hunch Michael Jackson's mammy? It's like she's under a spell. I wonder if that Joseph Jackson D was magnanimous. I don't think it was magnanimous. You know, I mean magnanimous, but I don't know if it was magnanimous enough to make me want to stay loyal to a man that's cheating all over me. I need somebody, if they know anything about Catherine getting some D outside of Joseph, let me know. Because you know y'all be down in the comment section giving me all the other tea that this book ain't giving. I don't like it. It's disrespectful to me and to Mother. You know Mother doesn't like Judy, and yet she's here. We want a flight out tonight. But Latoya, there are no flights going out tonight. Besides, he appealed, what about the Joe Jackson dancers? I don't care about the Joe Jackson dancers, and I don't care about Joe Jackson or anybody except Mother, I snapped. Mother and I want out of here. All right, he said wearily. I'll call you first thing tomorrow morning with a flight number. And one other thing, Mr. Sir, Mr. Assistant Sir, Mother better not find out about this little fiasco here. Okay? Mother already know. Trust me, she know. Why would Joe Jackson go anywhere without his hoe? That's what he do. He moves with his hoes publicly. Child. Well, anyway, that's not what Latoya said. This is the bull snit, cause Latoya ain't busting a grape, child. But hold on. And one other thing, mother had better not find out Judy's here. I said, because if she does, Judy might not live. Girl, can you picture Latoya ass fighting somebody? Girl, stop it. I wanted to break away from Joseph so badly, but I saw no way out. Not only was he my father, he was legally my manager. Michael's repeated warnings. Latoya, if you stick with him, you will never get anywhere. You'll be paying off lawsuits the rest of your career. Turned out to be prophetic. In 1984, after I co hosted 2 segments of the TV music program Solid Gold, ooh, remember Solid Gold and the Solid Gold dances? You can tell me that them hoes wasn't the best dancers in the world next to the fame, but I remember this one girl who always danced to Stevie Wonder's That Girl. I think she had cornrows going straight back. I don't even know her name, but man, she was wonderful, because if you don't know the premise of Solid Gold, it was kind of like the Black Casey Kasem show. They would do the top hits from, I don't know if it was from 20 to 1 or 10 to 1, the countdown. It was amazing. It was like, my little sister's 106 in Park. But man, it was hosted by Marilyn McCoo and I think Andy Gibb. Yeah, it was a really good show. I loved that show. In 1984, after I co-hosted 2 segments of the TV music program Solid Gold, a businessman named Jack Gordon saw me and contacted Joseph about taping a pilot for another television music show. Though the series never panned out, Jack began working with my father, overseeing his personal finances and sundry show business projects. Contrary to my family's recent claims, they liked him right away. Jack and my father became fast friends, making it all the more surprising that I liked him. He was good-natured and caring. He and I were only friends and are now also manager and artist. Nothing more. My family's later claims that he courted me are totally false. When the Victory Tour came to New York that summer, I flew in to see my brothers play Madison Square Garden. Jack happened to be in town too and joined my family and me for dinner at the Hemsley Palace. We were having a nice evening, but I kept noticing our security chief, Bill Bray, staring at Jack suspiciously. With so much money at stake, it was routine procedure to investigate the background of any newcomer involved in the family business. Bill discovered that in 1981, Jack served 4.5 months for a bribery conviction in Nevada. When Bill told us, none of us could believe it. Why? Child, don't you know when somebody tells you who they are, you believe them? Girl, do you know how many times I got played? And it actually was me playing myself. Because if somebody tell you off the break, I've never really had a good relationship. I've never been able to maintain a relationship, or the longest relationship I've ever had is, something's wrong with the person. Like me, this is the longest relationship I've ever been in, because why? I'm a runner. I'm a track star. Too bad that I'd never get too far, okay? Because I run my ass right into some other dumb shit that I'm going to run away from. You got to pay attention to people when they tell you things about themselves, girl. I move forward. My whole family knew about Jack's prison record. It didn't matter to anyone at the time, because once we were informed of the details, we believed he'd been framed. More important, he was our friend. Now, damn sure wouldn't be doing business with an embezzler. Oh, fraud, a scammer. I don't know if I'd be doing business with a scammer. Now, a killer, a drug dealer, we all got them around, hanging around somewhere, pimping, hoeing. What else? I don't for them scammers. I don't mess with them bad check writers, because they might get a hold of my checkbook, child, and write some bad checks. So I don't mess with them. Okay. Thieves, I don't like with them either. Working for Joseph, Jack couldn't help but notice how we kids had little to do with him. He was mildly appalled. Why do you treat your father the way you do? He often asked me. He's only trying to help you.
Oh,